Hi guys, Darth Deuces here with another video, and today we're going to be talking Mcfarlane toys, and specifically Mcfarlane toys' new releases, the White Knight figures, minus the Joker because I passed on that figure at least for now. But aside from that, I got the other two figures. I got Azrael and I got Batman, and they are really good. They're really good. Azrael is like top 10 of the year contender. I don't know if he'll actually be in the top 10. That's still a little ways away, but he's definitely a contender. And even the Batman, well, it's not a top 10er. He's still really good. And I bought more Mcfarlane toys this year than ever in my life. It's crazy because with these newer figures that they've been bringing out with the DC Multiverse and other lines, Mcfarlane toys has kind of went from kind of being at the bottom of the barrel, kind of sort of, to being an actual contender to Hasbro and other bigger toy companies and all that jazz. It's pretty crazy because Mcfarlane toys really wasn't that popular, mainly because of the issue with their figures being like statues for the most part. And eventually I want to do a whole video talking about Mcfarlane's, a bunch of Mcfarlane's new releases, and I want to go into, this its own video. It's its own video talking about Mcfarlane and all that stuff. I want to wait till the end of the year so I can get a few more of the figures that they're planning to put out this year and talk about it all at once. But I want to talk about these figures specifically because they surprise me. They're really good. And the White Knight storyline in general is also pretty cool. I didn't actually get around to like reading it or paying it much mind until these figures. I actually had these on pre-order and we're going to get these. And the story is also really good, so I recommend reading it if you have not. Kind of a cool take on the Batman mythos and all that jazz. Anyways, here I have the figures. I got their accessories all laid out. They both come with these black display bases, which are just these disc display bases. Not much to them, just have DC. They just say DC on them. I like these. I like that they're included. For some figures, they're kind of useless, especially the bigger ones. But for most figures, if you have problems standing them, you can use the base. If you want to give them more dynamic posing, you can use the base to help support them. I like that they include these. I'll just put these off to the side for now. And they've also, with the Multiverse figures, they've been doing these collector card kind of things, which as long as they don't dig into the actual accessories the figures could come with, I don't mind that they come with these. These are kind of neat. I like to kind of collect these with the figures. I just don't like it when accessories for the actual figure are sacrificed so you can have the card. So far, that's not really the case. But they have cool images of the characters and where they come from on the bottom, and then you get like the bios and all that. I'm not going to read them or anything, but these are cool. And you get the accessories for the rest of the figure here. Old Batman here. He comes with a few different things. You got the grappling hook thing, which is very Batman the Animated Series inspired, and it's actually got some paint on it. It's got black and silver at the little ends here, which is pretty cool. So that's cool. And you get a couple of these rope things. You got like this coiled up rope with a batarang tied to it. And then you get the actual, like, thrown out, unwinded rope with the batarang, which is pretty cool. And you can wind that around his arm, whatever. I'll show this off later. And then Azrael comes with his badass sword. It's actually got a crucified Jesus on the crossguard of the sword, which is pretty cool. And the paint is really nice, a really sturdy sword. And it's got this awesome flame effect that stays on the sword really nice. It looks really cool, and you can actually remove it, which is awesome. And you can put it the other way if you so desire. If you want them having like pointing the sword down, you can do that. So that's awesome. I'll just put that back on there. So the accessories you get with the figures. And they're pretty good, With Batman, I would have liked maybe some alternate hands, maybe a normal batarang to make it look like he's throwing it. With Azrael actually is, well, I think in most cases he's a former soldier, and in the comic he does actually use guns. It would have been nice to get like an assault rifle with him or something, and I'll show you something that I do with them, but it would have been nice to get that from. But overall, pretty good. And they look great, They're based on the art of the actual comic, which I think is done very well here. You can see the scale is pretty good, I think they scale pretty well. Azrael's a pretty beefy guy. He's a bit thicker than Batman. They're about the same height though, which I think works well. Azrael's obviously the bit more interesting than character, and we'll take a look at him closer in a second. We'll take a look at Batman first. And Batman is still really good, I've tried to, kind of steer clear from collecting too many different Batman. I kind of like having like one good Batman figure, and that's about it. but there's been a bunch of really good ones. The Arkham Asylum figures that Mcfarlane released previously were both really good, and I got that Batman. I really like it, and this one's the same thing. Get a better look at the light here. The head sculpt's really awesome, and those eyes are painted really well. They even did the paint on the lips, which doesn't look like he's wearing lip gloss or lipstick or anything. It looks normal and it looks good. And you can see like the bat logo is sculpted. It looks great. The musculature and everything looks good. The belt. The cape's really nice. It just looks cool. I like the whole collared look it's got going on. It looks good. How it's sculpted to drape over the shoulders looks really good. But one thing's really good, it's very pliable. You know, you can squish it, scrunch it, move it. It does not hinder a lot of articulation. You can make it look really good. You can get his arms. You don't want to go too far else it's going to come unglued, but you can get up pretty far without it being hindered. You know, it doesn't really hinder a lot of articulation, which is awesome. And he's got the gloves. He's got the fist. I like they gave him at least one fist. You're not going to give him interchangeable hands. At least one fist is nice. And you got the boots. He's got the high boots going on for this design. And while the design is not very, but significantly different from, you know, classic Batman designs, I really like it. It looks really good. It's kind of got this more gothic kind of look to it, which I think looks really cool. I love the collar and the large boots and everything looks really nice. Some people might not be the cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine. Articulation-wise, though, he is really good, though. You get a lot of great movement in the head there. The shoulders, you know, you get a lot of movement. Elbows, you get about 90. It would have been nice if these are double hinged. You do have kind of these ugly ratchets if you move the elbow forward, but you still get good range. And, you know, the wrists move pretty much however you want them to. The torso moves really well. The guy can do pretty much full splits, kick forward pretty far, get double hinges. You get ankle rockers and pivots and toe bends, you know, really good articulation. Mcfarlane Toys has really figured out or has listened to that we want articulated action figures, and they have delivered on not only giving us articulated action figures, but good looking ones. They still kind of have that Mcfarlane good looking aesthetic without having to sacrifice articulation, which is awesome. And this Batman just has a really great presence. It's a little hard to kind of explain it. You just kind of look at it and he just looks badass, just kind of stand there looking like the Batman, you know. And Azrael here is also really good. A bit more interesting. He's got dark reds, he's got bright reds, he's got this gold, which looks awesome. He's got these different pendants and religious jewelry, I guess you could say, like this little cross here on it, looking really good. He's got this little knife, which would have been nice if it was a removable accessory, but you do have the little knife there. Pouches, the gold gauntlets. Again, the musculature and proportions is done pretty well, in my opinion. I absolutely love the look of the hood and the head sculpt, the beaked hood with the mask there. It looks really good. These, I don't know what you call these, like Mr. Sinister style cape things are really awesome because, well, one, they're extremely pliable. Like, they're really thin, rubbery plastic that just free flows, which is awesome. But the engineering on how to get them to go up and down like this is really cool. They actually, on the bottom, have a plastic piece and then the soft piece glued on the top so that it sticks up to a certain point until the hard plastic ends, and then it droops down and it's free flowing. That's really cool. Insanely good black wash on the dark reds, looks amazing as well, which you might be able to see, maybe not. Even the back still looks pretty good. Just amazing looking figure, dude. And from the amazing looking figure, also well articulated. This is a bulky guy, but yet they still managed to put in some great articulation. The neck is really well done. They've kind of learned from what they did with Scorpion and whatnot. And you have a joint in the neck, which moves the whole head and hood together, so you can still get great posability out of it. But there's also still a joint at the top of the neck where the head meets the neck, so you can adjust the head inside of the hood if you so choose. You can have it out more, you can bury his head deeper into the hood. That's a very cool feature, very much like that. And again, you know, you get shoulder joints, you get the swivel at the bicep, you get the hinge, which has the same issue with the ribbing, but it's not too bad. For the price point, the figure doesn't bother me that much. Hinges at the wrist, great torso articulation for such a bulky guy, very cool. Again, basically does the whole splits, can kick out pretty far. Double hinges at the knees, which can kick his ass, which is even better than Batman. Although with this one, if you do bend the knees so far, he gets this ugly gapping right here. The knee joints themselves are sculpted kind of ugly, and they're also a different color than the red of the legs, which is a little weird. And again, not a huge deal for me personally, but it is a thing to consider. And you got the boots, you get the toe pivot, and you get the pivots and all the good articulation. There's a lot of great articulation here. And again, looking amazing while having that articulation is a very good feat for Mcfarlane Toys. I tell you right now, these figures at the price point give give Hasbro a run for their money with Marvel Legends, because you get figures at basically the Marvel Legends price point looking this good and this articulated, and then you get figures from Marvel Legends that look super plain in comparison. And sometimes that's accustomed to the actual design of the characters, fine, but still, it's pretty crazy the differences. And then lastly, just I'll show you with their accessories. Azrael holds his sword really well. You can get two-handed poses, but you're pretty limited in the style type of two-handed poses you can get, so you're better off just doing one-handed. You can pose him pretty good. And like I said, he has actually molded trigger fingers, but he doesn't come with a gun. But what you can do is you can give him a gun. So what I like to do is I have extra assault rifle from the Diamond Select John Wick. They're both supposed to be 7-inch scale figures, so the scaling more or less works, and he actually holds this one really well. So I like giving him that gun. I think that looks super cool. For some reason, I always like characters that use guns that don't look like they'd use guns. Like Azrael doesn't really look like a character who'd use guns, but he does. I don't know, I just like that. It's the same thing with Scourge from Thor Ragnarok. Asgardian has no reason to use guns, but he uses them anyways. I think it's cool. And with Batman, he has a little hook here. You can actually hook this little thing, hook that there, store that there. You can also do the same thing with the grappling hook if you want to. It does kind of fall off because it's just a hook. He has a trigger finger on the right hand, or not right hand, left hand, and you can weave the grappling hook through his fingers there, and it looks like he's firing that off, which is cool. And then this I'm not really going to bother doing it, but you can kind of weave it around his arm so it looks like he's throwing it, which is also cool, and it works pretty well. I'll try and get him in a cool pose. More or less, try to get him in a cool pose. I'm not trying too hard here. If you use your imagination, you play with it raw, you can get some pretty cool stuff going. There we go. So overall, these figures are pretty awesome, honestly. These are some really good work from Mcfarlane. If you've been hesitant in getting into the Mcfarlane figures, I would recommend checking these ones out, because they might change your mind on them. Or they might not. Who knows? It might not be your cup of tea. But even just as action figures, at least Azrael, just even as an action figure, is just a really cool figure. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. That's about it. Let me know what you guys think about how Mcfarlane's doing their stuff, doing their figures and all that. I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts on the company is and how they're doing their figures, and if you like what they're putting out, and if you like what they have coming out. Because I know they have a lot of cool stuff coming out that I'm really excited for. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video.